Okay, here's a number that changes everything for Cypress real estate. A 60% surge in closed sales from 15 homes sold in January to 24 homes in February. I'm Chase with the Whitney team and First Team Real Estate, and here's your February 2026 market update. The median price jumped 11.7% to $1,045,000. Now, here's the contradiction. Everywhere else, the story is about how the market's thawing, more inventory, better conditions for buyers. But in Cypress, we've got more inventory and also price explosion. That doesn't make sense on paper. More options for buyers should cool things off, not ignite a frenzy. So what actually is happening in February? I'm going to show you two specific reasons this surge occurred and exactly what it means for your potential move coming up this spring. Let's break down why. First, the raw data shows speed. The median days on market dropped to just 11 days. Homes flew off the shelf. Now, for one reason, the lock-in effect is finally starting to weaken. Slightly more homeowners are deciding to make their move, which is why active inventory ticked up 18.5%. But the reason number two is the catalyst, 6% mortgage rates floating right above or below. This didn't just attract buyers, it unlocked a massive pent-up pool of qualified buyers who've been waiting on the sidelines for years. According to the latest Orange County reports on housing from Stephen Thomas, the math is startling. A buyer with a $5,000 monthly principal and interest budget putting 20% down could only afford $940,000 for a home last year when rates bobbed right around 7%. Today, right at 6%, that same buyer is looking at about $1,042,000 for a purchase price. That's an immediate $102,000 extra in buying power just from the rate drop. You can also look at it the other way. For a specific priced home, the payment plummets. On $1 million home with 20% down, the monthly payment drops from $5,322 at 7% to $4,800 at 6%. And that's a savings of $526 every single month. For a large number of people, that's the signal that waiting is over. That's the game changer right there. So you have this collision, a little more supply finally hitting the market, meeting an army of motivated buyers who suddenly found their buying power supercharged. And this collision was most intense in the affordable price ranges under about $1.5 million. That's where the feeding frenzy really happened. It created multiple offers, bids over asking price, and an 11% median jump. The data is clear, but the data is only one thing. To really understand the new market reality, you have to see what it looks like on the ground with a real transaction that we just closed. 5741 Line Avenue in the Imperial Estate neighborhood of Cypress. We just listed the property for $1,099, and immediately we had 4 competitive offers. That's the demand pool right there. But here's where the market logic falls apart. 8 days into escrow, the first buyer walked away. In a normal market, even a balanced one, that kills the deal and you go back on the market and you got to stay on your listing and you start over from square one. But in the February surge we just had, that's not what happened. Because the demand was so deep, we had a fully approved backup buyer ready to go. We put them in escrow with 0 days lost and actually closed with our original time frames. The sale closed on February 23rd, and that is the reality. The demand pool isn't just a line of people. It's a crowd several rows deep, and that's what creates leverage to absorb a shock like a failed escrow without derailing anything. And this is exactly what forces median prices up. When you have 4 offers on a home, they compete. They compete on price and terms. The sale to list price ratio in Cypress was 100.6%. That means on average, homes sold for over their asking price by just a small margin. And that multiple offer environment fueled by that deep buyer pool is what pushed our median price to $1,045,000. So we're not quite in a balanced market. We're in what I'm calling a seller's market with a buffer. The demand is so thick it can absorb shocks and still keep prices climbing, and that's a fundamental shift. So what do you do with this? Let's get tactical. If you're a buyer, the mindset has to change. Move 1 is accept that 6% is the new catalyst. It's not a reason to wait. It's the reason for everyone else to start jumping in. Get your financing fully underwritten, not just pre-approved. A pre-approval is a quick check, and an underwritten pre-approval means the bank has verified income, assets, credit, and is ready to fund. In a multiple offer situation, that makes your offer look like cash. That's the single biggest advantage you can have. Move number 2, strategy is going to beat emotion every time. In multiple offers, the cleanest offer with the fewest contingencies and shortened time frames often wins. It's not always the highest price. If you have the down payment, seriously consider waiving the appraisal if you have the funds to back it up. It tells the seller you won't renegotiate if the house doesn't appraise, and that's huge. Now move number 3, have a backup plan and be decisive. Like our Line Avenue story just recently, know your absolute walkaway price for the house, but also have the next house or 2 lined up. In this market, hesitation doesn't mean you miss by a day, it means you miss by an hour, so be ready to pivot almost immediately. Now if you're a seller, your advantage is huge, but don't waste it. Move 1 is priced correctly from day 1. I'm a broken record on this topic, but it's crucially important. Data shows 100.6% sale price to list price. If you underprice, you're leaving money on the table by sparking a bidding war that might not quite reach the value. Price at true justified market value to attract serious, qualified buyers. Move number 2. Prepare for non-price terms. Know what you need, like a specific closing date or rent back period, so you can negotiate strategically on the terms instead of just caving on the price. And move number 3, vet your buyer's strength meticulously. Rely on a trusted agent to help you with this. When the offer comes in, don't just look at the price. Look at the lender's pre-approval letter. Is it from a reputable local lender? Look at the down payment amount. A bigger down payment means the buyer is less likely to walk if there's a hiccup. And call the buyer's agent and ask point blank, is the buyer fully underwritten? These are things that we help all of our sellers through. And that level of vetting is what lets you sleep at night after you accept the offer. Let's be clear about what this surge means long-term. That 60% jump in sales and the 11% increase in median price isn't a random spike or a seasonal fluke. It's a market reset. We now have $1 million floor in the city of Cypress. Here's why it's structural. First, the months of inventory sits at 1.3. Anything under 3 months is a strong seller's market. We're not even close to balanced. And second, that massive injection of purchasing power from 6% rates isn't going to go away. It's permanently expanded the pool of buyers who can afford a home here, and many of them are aiming at that sub $1.5 million bracket, which is where the action is. And third, the lock-in effect is weakening again, but it's not broken. New supply is still trickling in. It's not flooding the market just yet. So you have this constant deep demand hitting a still limiting supply. That combination doesn't create peaks and valleys, it creates a rising floor. The current median price isn't the ceiling. It's the new baseline you have to work with from now. The takeaway is this. The Cypress market of February of 2026 showed us that the old rules are sometimes broken. More inventory plus lower rates didn't cool down prices. It spearheaded them because the underlying demand was so much deeper than anyone else realized. Your move this spring has to account for that new reality. If you're looking at a specific neighborhood or price point and want to know how this plays out, leave a comment below. And for more insights you won't get anywhere else, subscribe on YouTube and hit that notification bell. I'm Chase with the Whitney team, First Team Real Estate. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you around town or on the next video.